Well, we're back again for a little conversation with Mary Ann, and we wanted to talk about how people can get involved in city commissions and activities, and then how they can deal with feelings of frustration and despair about what's going on, and plug in and make a difference.
You bet, you bet. Well, let me start with my own story. When Terry and I moved into our home, the neighbor down the street worked for a company that wanted to plant trees. And so we got a little postcard on our note. This was 1980, that's or 81, that asked, do you want to buy a tree and plant a tree? And we said, oh, well, I guess we do, because now we are buying a house. And so, and you know, as a Girl Scout, I planted trees and different things, but now this is planting, this is quite literally, we're putting roots in the ground in our new house. Turns out they were the wrong trees to be putting in the ground.
Oh, and there goes your sidewalk.
But exactly. But we started meeting our neighbors. And then we got, they helped us dig the hole and put our trees in the ground. And then we crossed over and helped them put their trees in the ground. And then we went down and then we were putting trees in the rest of the neighborhood. And we had an urban forester at that time. Elizabeth was helping select trees and putting trees in the ground. And we were all so excited. And gosh, one thing led to another. And why don't we go down and put some trees at the school? Because things had died, and why don't we why don't we just have a little picnic after we plant the trees? And it just continued to grow. And then we heard about the neighborhood association. So Shumway Neighborhood Association it's a pretty old one. It's not number one. I think our NADA is number one, but we're number two. And we learned that the city of Vancouver is divided into kind of major, wherever the major roads were, for a neighborhood association. And the city council had actually put it in their ordinance about kind of the rules and regulations, whose rights and what are the responsibilities of a neighborhood association. And the city got to help us with projects. And it wasn't just trees, it was sidewalks, and it was picnic tables, and they had little grants. And one thing led to another, and we raised our hand and said, yeah, sure, I'll help with the newsletter delivery. And then it was, yeah, I'll help write the newsletter. My husband's the English teacher. We'll do it together. And then, okay, I'll be the secretary. I'll be the treasurer. Okay, I'll be the vice chair. All right, now I know I'll be the chair. And we just kept learning, and we said, yes, I'll help. And when so many people got together, it wasn't such a big chore because everyone was helping. And then we would learn a little bit. And I started asking questions, because each neighborhood association is assigned a staff member to be that liaison back to the city. So if we ask, how can we the staff member goes and finds the answer and brings it back to us. We put it in the newsletter, we put the newsletters out there, people would come, we would discuss. It was a perfect form of government. We would discuss it, vote on it, and we would make it happen, and we were volunteers. We wanted a park. How do we get a park? Well, there was no open land in Shumway. And we realized that in order to build a park, we had to find land, which meant destroying homes. Well, a couple homes were old and in pretty bad shape, and the city bought them, and the city leveled them out, and we were going to have just a little tiny pocket park. We were so excited. And an elderly gentleman next door died unexpectedly, so his house came on the market, and that just created a whole new park opportunity. And the community came together, and we designed a park. Well, it goes back to that partnership, working together. We didn't get everything we wanted. We wanted a water feature. wasn't going to be there. We wanted trees, got the trees, got the swings, got the picnic tables, got some more trees, didn't get the water feature. We didn't get everything we wanted, but we could ask and we could negotiate and compromise. And the city had the final, because even though we were writing the grants and helping to find the funds for it, it was a city park. But what that helped us understand is that we had a part of the decision-making process, and we could make things a little bit better for our little world. Then we learned that there was more than just our little world. There was Lincoln, there was Arnada, there was Northwest, there was Carter Park, there was Rosemere. And we were invited to go and visit and see what they were doing. How did they get a community center? How did they get a stop sign? And slowly we asked the questions and we raised our hand and we said yes. As things progress, we're talking years and years of saying yes, volunteering, serving on this committee, watching and reading the paper. There's an opportunity. Did you want to learn about the Vancouver Neighborhood Alliance, a group of neighborhood leaders getting together, raising your hand, saying yes, volunteering. But that also helped us understand how decisions were made. Who had the authority, who had the power, sometimes different options there. And what were the regulations? What were the codes? What did we have to follow? As we went through, I applied for the Planning Commission. And my first time, I didn't get on the Planning Commission. I thought I'd be the perfect one for the Planning Commission. But then I reapplied and they appointed me to the Planning Commission. And while I served on the Planning Commission, I was still commuting across that bridge to go to work in the morning. And I was still the neighborhood leader. And the governor asked, oh, we need someone to serve on the I-5 task force for freight mobility. We need hopefully a resident that lives near the bridge, that commutes across the bridge, that needs it for their work, this, that, and everything else. And so I raised my hand and was selected. Boy, did I learn a lot. That was the second task force on that bridge. There were 4 in all. But it meant to raise your hand. It meant to work together. Absolutely, to share, to cooperate, to listen. And we don't always get what we want. It was shortly after that that I retired from teaching and I ran for city government. I made it through the primary and I lost in the general election. 2 years later, I ran again, ran in the primary, got through the primary, lost in the general election. It was at this point that people said, yeah, you might have been the chair of Shumway, you might have been the chair of the Alliance, the chair of the Planning Commission, served on the I-5, volunteered for this and volunteered for that and everything else, but you're not going to. And I said, I'm going to give it one more try and persevered. So working together, trying a little bit more, learning what the issues were, made it through the primary, made it through the general election. I have not stopped learning. Just because I sit in this chair as the mayor, there's a lot I don't know. And that is where we go back to the neighborhoods. What is unique and what do you need? But remember, you don't always get what you need. You don't always get what you want, because we're making a decision for the entire community, for those people who are not here and for people who are here, but we're planning for the future. And that's hard to do, but it is so delightful. I was looking at all the boards and commissions that we have, people who help us make those decisions. Now, Daria, I know you're on the transportation mobility piece, but we have the Vancouver Housing Authority Board. We have the Urban Forestry Commission, telecommunications, salary review, public facilities, PDX, citizen advisory, people who sit and study the airplanes that fly over Vancouver and impact our noise, but they're headed for Portland. Planning Commission, Parks and Rec, which we have an opening right now. parking advisory, lodging tax, the regional library, redevelopment authority, the culture, arts and heritage, our newest one. We have tasks for mosquitoes. Historic preservation,
As
civil
if you want to start
service,
really small.
aviation and everything. They don't meet often, only during the summertime. But what a great opportunity to help make the decision, to make the recommendation, to learn a little bit more about your community. 60, almost 69 neighborhood associations that make decisions for their neighborhoods. How to get parks, traffic calming, stop signs, taking care of your park. We have some people out on the east side who have half park, half natural area, and they're cleaning up and keeping that nature area natural. This is the green grass, go ahead and mow it, but we're going to go out and clean and keep this part natural. That takes a real commitment. That takes a commitment from people who will go and clean and be a part and get together and work together, solving problems and asking for support on the number of different things. We don't always get what we want. We don't always get what we need because we're a larger community. And that 190,000 people make big decisions, but you're a part of a community. And I know people are busy, and now is a very difficult time. And maybe you don't do the whole community. Maybe you don't even do your whole neighborhood. Maybe you volunteer and you help the little old person across the street from you. Do you know that person? Have you connected with that person? Do you know if the newspaper is on their front porch after 10 o'clock that there might be something you can do to help? Because maybe there's something that needs to be done. When you live in a community, you have a responsibility, not just for yourself, but for others. And you live in a city. So if you want to live in the woods of Montana or out in the boondocks, that is absolutely great. But when you're with us here in the city, we so appreciate the opportunity for you to be a part of the city. Help in some way. There is always something you can do. If it's the tree branch that has fallen down in the street, or someone was careless and threw their Coke bottle out and it broke and there's glass in the street, please don't wait for the city crews to come and sweep it up. Be a part of it and help us out. And sometimes in your life, you'll be able to do big things, and other times only little things. But you're always there. We're always here to listen, to get your feedback. We have a number of different ways in the city to get your feedback on surveys and everything else. The My Vancouver app, if you're using technology, it has the Be Heard Vancouver. It's a one-stop shop. If you want to know anything about the city, the My Vancouver app it's a one-stop shop. If you see a light out, let us know where it is. If you see a pothole, let us know where it is. If you see a dead possum, let us know where it is before it gets really hot. So we have a number of different ways for you to help, but we're so happy that you're with us and helping us make a decision for this city to keep moving forward.
And the more of us that help, many hands make light work, right?
It does. It really does.
It gives us a sense of ownership and a sense of felt community.
It
You
does.
experience it in real time, right?
It also takes
Absolutely.
away the us and them stuff.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah. It's us working together, right? Yeah.
It is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It was a wonderful way to spend the afternoon. Thank you so very much for the opportunity. Take good care of yourselves.
Well,
Thank you so much. That's
Okay.
our Mayor, Ann McInerney Ogle. That's the first woman mayor. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.